Morning, YouTube. Wanted to make a quick follow-up to yesterday's video. Today's October 20th, 10/20. Good number. I wanted to state that the opinions that I express that other people might have aren't necessarily the opinions of my own. But we should be tolerant, and that's the one freedom that we actually have here in America, is to separate our religious beliefs from our religious and spiritual beliefs from our government institutions. And unfortunately, that's gotten a lot of countries in wars and problems when they have religious officials. I'm of the opinion that, religion that you're brought up in can benefit you, and you can learn a lot from it. And having a moral upbringing is a positive thing. But as we grow into adulthood, we can choose to perceive those in different ways and interpret them in different ways. If somebody mentions something, you should be tolerant of that, or accepting of it, or learn from it. But I'd like to restate where I mentioned interpretations of different spiritual texts. It is my personal belief, my understanding of certain things, and what Jesus was really trying to teach us, is that we no longer have to believe that we are sinful from birth. And I think that this is the original teaching. I don't think he wanted us to have a place to worship him, but I think he wanted us to venerate him in our own lives and align our three in one. Our being consists of three aspects, our head, our heart, and our hands, what we do and how we think about the world, and our emotions and our words. They should be aligned. And I think that, if you see a lot of problems with the way things are, and being restricted from doing things, we don't have the right to food and a place to live, but we have a right to provide it for ourselves, and participate with nature and engage in a positive way. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions. A lot of things are inverted, like just a lot of belief systems that are holding us back from becoming who we really can be in the world. And it takes time. It takes time for people to understand that, we're free not to work together, but we are free to come together. Also in this country, we are free to take understandings from other cultures, and understand, that Magi were the ones who came and venerated Christ being born, because they knew that he would break the bonds of belief in that we're automatically bad right away. And we've kicked this can so far down the road that we're blind to what the truth of the message really is. And that's my opinion, and you're free to go to church and worship all you want. But it's my belief that he was teaching us to be free from religion and to engage fully with what we would like the world to be. Whether that's, separating yourself from institutions and belief systems, or engaging with systems that are moving in the other direction than what is presented to you. Because, just because somebody says something or just that's the way it is, or doesn't mean it's the truth. And I think it's time that the truth needs to be spoken about and heard. And, people might get offended at first, but, that's part of the struggle. That's part of the strife. We're to share in Christ's suffering, and part of that suffering is having people accuse you, and having people tell you that you're wrong. But it's important that you stand in what your heart tells you. And I think that's what is meant by pressing on towards the goal. How free are we in this country? How free are we to provide for ourselves? How free are we, as far as what we can ingest, or what possessions we can have across certain borders, or you know, what ways we're able to defend ourselves if needed. You know, people have forgotten that the moral principles is what started religion, and I think that's the only way out. It's kind of an Irish, one way in, one way out, is my understanding of that. So, you know, belief is what's brought us to this point, but it's going to be belief in the future and what we can do and how we can heal from what has become now, and these belief systems, these beliefs in government authority that restricts you just for their benefit, because they're shaking hands with corporate masters who, you know, are making too much money off of paper mills. So let's make hemp illegal, you know, and that's what's been occurring for centuries now. And I think it's time that we look beyond our beliefs that we are instilled in us as young children, and kind of break those chains and share in the suffering. And I think it's important that we tolerate, you know, other cultures and beliefs. Maybe not maybe not bow to idols, you know, but understanding that they might have a spiritual significance and not just a physical significance for those cultures. And, you know, it's a fine line to tread, because, you know, the 10 Commandments, it's a good day to talk about that too, because it's the 20th, and it's in Exodus 20. And you know, those are what the Abrahamic religions that have brought us to where we are now in the Western world. Those are what we all agree on, is that are those 10 principles. And you know, in Eastern traditions, it's all just nature, and it's all just ebb and flow. You know, justice is blind. You know, and they understood these principles before religion and the belief that we're bad right away even began. So who's to say what our history was been like, and how much we've been lied to, or how calendars have changed and all this? I stand firm, and I only believe what I can prove for myself in manifested reality. I don't take anything as truth. I just take what my heart tells me to do and to think, and what, you know, how to act in the world the way I do. And, you know, I might get looked down upon by my family, or by, you know, I could get shot in this state for, you know, by a hardcore Baptist, you know what I mean? Like for to be considered blasphemy, but we're free to interpret, you know, spiritual texts how we might here in this country. And that's the one freedom that I'm grateful for. You know, that, and, you know, the ability to travel. There are a lot of positive points to, you know, the land of the so-called free, but we are slaves to money. We are slaves to pay taxes. We are, you know, when somebody claims a right of your labor to line their pockets, you know, Paul said in the Bible, you know, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. But, you know, the only thing that belongs to Caesar is money. So to break free from that, we have to produce our own goods. We have to start honoring nature and what provides us our life and enjoyment and health, instead of just outsourcing all of these things. Anyways, I just wanted to do a little quick follow-up from yesterday and clarify a few things, but also that we should be able to allow for other people's interpretations of different texts. So I think that'll lead us into a more, you know, more meaningful future. But anyways, I'll see y'all in the future.